So just imagine this. We've got all the information we have today about this year's rookie class, but the draft is tomorrow. What would happen? Now obviously this is super early, but it's safe to say if some of these teams had a chance to redo their selection, they 100% would. Starting with the top pick, we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Originally they took Anthony Edwards, who's had his moments, and it really looks like he's going to be a solid player going forward. But with the chance to redo this pick, they don't hesitate. They take Lamelo Ball. If you disagree, you're just wrong. Lamelo has not only been the best rookie so far this season, but he's truly having one of the better rookie years we've ever seen. He's averaged 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, shooting 45% from the field and 38% from 3. The kid is special. I can almost guarantee the Timberwolves front office just refrains from watching Hornets games as much as they can for the sake of their blood pressure. There was a lot of question marks about Lamelo going into the draft, a lot of which were clearly overblown. It's becoming more and more obvious for me that we really just need to stop overthinking this drafting. Everyone likes to look at these prospects under a microscope, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't have been that hard to know Lamelo was the top prospect in the draft, considering the skill set he possessed at a 6'7" point guard frame, regardless of the concerns off the court. Today's video is sponsored by Basketball Arena, a brand new mobile game available for both iOS and Android devices. I just got into this game recently, and it's been a blast. I'm sure most of you love basketball video games, but Basketball Arena has a lot of unique twists. All players are connected to the same energy system. For example, a slam dunk is going to take 3 units of energy. It has all the actions we love, shooting, stealing, and slam dunks, but the characters also have special powers that you can customize within my team. Everyone playing Basketball Arena is actually playing against real people. You can also play with your friends. I decided to test my new skills against my brother, and well, he didn't really stand a chance, but he's now hooked, preparing for our rematch. The game is having a win streak event right now, going from March 5th to March 12th. The top 10 players on the leaderboard will have a share of $50,000, ranging from $1,000 all the way up to $25,000. If any of this sounds interesting, check out Basketball Arena with the link in the description below. Now, the Warriors at 2 is pretty tough. They could stick with their original selection in James Wiseman. They could go with the original top pick, Anthony Edwards, who they didn't get a chance at before, or they could take one of the biggest surprises of the season in Tyrese Haliburton. Wiseman makes more sense for this roster, but in my opinion, Haliburton has just been too impressive. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just really proud of my confidence in him super early in the draft process a season ago. I still think his potential in this league is getting overlooked. There were concerns about his shooting and that his efficiency in college didn't tell the full story, but now that we know that really isn't a concern, it's time for us all to become believers. He's averaging 13 points and 5 assists, shooting 49% from the field and 43% from 3. And in the last 12 games, he's up to 17 points on even better efficiency. His combination of size, defense, playmaking, and efficiency we rarely see, especially from a rookie. And don't be surprised if we see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander-esque progress out of Haliburton over the next couple seasons. At 3, we've got the Charlotte Hornets, another tough one. They're clearly the biggest losers of the video as they missed out on Lamelo Ball. Now they've got to decide between the original top 2 picks, Wiseman and Edwards. Now, in a lot of redrafts I've seen, they have Edwards falling outside of the top 5 in a lot of cases, and to me, that's a little ridiculous. In fact, I have the Hornets taking him here. Yes, on the season, he's averaging 15 points, shooting just 37% from the field, but in a lot of ways, he's been the player we thought he would be. The efficiency wasn't great in college, but suddenly when he goes number 1, we've got a whole new set of expectations, and we just expect him to be this 50, 40, 90 player overnight. He was drafted for his potential, which for the most part has been on display. He's even had some very impressive shooting streaks throughout the year. Wiseman would be the safer pick, we know that. But with the Hornets missing out on Lamelo, they take the risk with Edwards. So now we've got the Bulls here at 4, who originally went with Patrick Williams. And that's a completely fine pick. I really like what I've seen out of him from this point. Now this one might be kind of controversial. Obviously, we've got Wiseman on the board, and I think that's a direction a lot of people would have the Bulls go. But Williams has actually been very impressive, and I'm just gonna have the Bulls stick with what's worked. He also happens to fit in this roster much better going forward, considering the long-term outlook of both Otto Porter Jr. and Thaddeus Young. I was skeptical about Williams before the draft, but so far this season, he's alleviated a lot of those concerns, averaging 10 points, shooting an impressive 47% from the field and 39% from 3. I'm fine if you want to have Wiseman here, but I don't think the gap between the two is big enough for the Bulls to change their selection. At 5, we've got the Cleveland Cavaliers, who originally took Isaac Okoro. This time, they get the chance to take James Wiseman, and they jump on it. Now, the addition of Jarrett Allen has actually been really good for this team, but Wiseman's potential is just too high for the Cavs to miss the opportunity. On the season, he's averaging 12 points and 6 rebounds, shooting 51% from the field and 37% from 3. The Cavs have seen a lot of progress from their young backcourt of Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. Now they get a chance to give them a long-term front court pairing. I think a huge reason Wiseman was able to go with the second pick to the Warriors was the thought that he could just come in and secure their center position from day one, something that really hasn't been the case with him bouncing back and forth from the starting lineup due to defensive struggles. You can mix up 2 through 5 all you want, but it's pretty clear all those guys belong in that area. After 5, it becomes a lot less clear. At 6, we've got the Atlanta Hawks. They originally took Onyeka Okongwu, knowing that Clint Capella has returned to full form, averaging 15 points and 14 rebounds. I really don't think they would make that same selection in the event of a redraft, but the question is, who would they take? A question I'm still pretty undecisive on. For now, I'm going to lean towards Denny Avdija. The Hawks have dealt with a lot of injuries this season. Avdija's flexibility would help them in the immediate future, but his floor spacing and potential to develop into a much-needed secondary playmaker for this Hawks team is enough for him to go here right now. On the season, he's averaging 6 points, shooting 36% from 3. Clearly nothing crazy, but in a redraft, these teams are not going to be exclusively considering the player's impact on this season alone. The Pistons first took Killian Hayes, who's only played a few games where it was terrible, and he's also been dealing with a hip injury. If we were actually to have a redraft, I think I would see them going with Cole Anthony. The talent has never been a question with Anthony, and I think we've seen enough from him for the Pistons to take the risk. We saw great things from him in the preseason. Then he had a pretty slow start of the regular season, but after the injury of Markelle Fultz, we really got a chance to see some great things from him. He's averaged 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. The efficiency hasn't been great, but we saw improvement in that department before he went down with a recent injury. At the end of the day, with the position the Pistons are in, while there might be some safer selections, they still need to be drafting for upside, which Anthony has a lot of. At 8, we saw the Knicks go with Obi Toppin, who to this point has been really disappointing, but luckily, their second first-round pick, Emmanuel Quickley, has really looked solid, and in this redraft, they still managed to get him. It's just this time, it's going to be at 8. He's had his efficiency ups and downs throughout this season, but he's really brought this team a stable presence off the bench, averaging 12 points as a 38% three-point shooter. He's become a real fan favorite for Knicks fans, so I bet they're happy to see him stay on this roster in a redraft. 9 is going to be the Washington Wizards. They originally took Denny Avdija. He's off the board, so I actually have them just switching selections with the Hawks, taking Onyeka Okongwu. We haven't gotten to see much from Onyeka, playing behind Capella and starting the year off injured, but considering the prospect he was going into this season, there's still a lot of hope he can really grow into that great defender we thought he would be. And as for right now, he's going to hold on to his presence inside the top 10. At the 10 spot, we've got the Phoenix Suns, who took Jalen Smith, a selection that got a lot of criticism at the time, and it looks like those criticisms were pretty warranted. This is a team trying to make a deep playoff run this year, so I have them taking a guy that I've been really impressed with in Tyrese Maxey. On the season, he's averaging just 8 points, but we saw what he's capable of when the 76ers were riddled by injuries. His skill with the ball in his hands gives me confidence he's going to have a lot of success going forward, and in the immediate future would provide this team backcourt depth. 11 is going to be the Spurs, who took Devin Vassell. Now they're just going to stick with that selection. He hasn't blown anyone away, but he's been a decent 3-and-D wing to this point, averaging 40% from 3 so far. 12 is the Sacramento Kings, and man, they're not happy about a redraft, missing out on Tyrese Halliburton. Now they go with the original 5th pick, Isaac Okoro. Okoro was drafted for his defense, and he's been solid on that end, which is why he's led all rookies in minutes a game. He's struggled to put the ball in the basket right now, but the Kings are one of the worst defensive teams we've ever seen, so they take Okoro for the defense and hope he just develops on the offensive end. 13 is the New Orleans Pelicans, and they're going to grab one of the most impressive rookies so far this season, Saddiq Bey, who was originally taken by the Detroit Pistons. So far, he's averaged 10 points, but almost exclusively scoring from the three-point line, shooting 39% from 3 on over 5 attempts a game. He's even starting to get a lot of buzz when it comes to the March 25th trade deadline. With the last pick in the lottery, we've got the Boston Celtics, who take the risk on the falling Obi Toppin. If he can reach his potential, man, would they have a scary young core.